Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Change Your Mind podcast, where we explore personal development, spirituality, and science. I'm your host, Kris Ashley. I am so excited for my guest today, all the way from Essex in the UK. But first, couple quick announcements. Head over to the links in the show notes. You'll find ways to connect with my guest. You'll find ways to connect with me on social media or through my website. You can sponsor the podcast. You'll also find a link to my book, Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality. It was endorsed by 3 people from the film The Secret. That's Marcy Shimoff, Michael Beckwith, Bob Doyle. It was also endorsed by Anita Morjani, who wrote Dying to Be Me, and John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So go check it out. You'll find links to my courses, my coaching, speaking events, upcoming speaking events. So just come be involved, come say hi. And as always, this podcast is part of the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network. We are doing amazing things in the personal development realm, so come be a part of it. What if the one thing keeping you stuck is the way you think? Welcome to Change Your Mind with Kris Ashley, the podcast where science meets spirituality and mindset becomes your most powerful tool for transformation. I'm Kris Ashley, author of Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality, trainer, speaker, and lifelong seeker. For years, I battled trauma, depression, anger, chronic illness, low self-worth, and the weight of old stories. Until I discovered how to rewire my mind, reconnect with my divine nature, and consciously create a new reality from the inside out. This show is here to help you do the same. Each week, we explore the intersection of personal development, spirituality, and science, diving into topics like healing, emotional mastery, entrepreneurship, resilience, and the quantum nature of reality. You'll hear powerful stories, gain practical tools, and real conversations that will help you change your perspective, get unshakable confidence, and live the vision your soul has always known is possible. Whether you're navigating a major life shift, building your dream business, or seeking deep healing and alignment, you're in the right place. So if you're ready to break through, take back your power, and create a life on your terms, this is your moment. Let's break free from the patterns that hold us back, awaken to who we truly are, and rise. Your transformation starts now. All right, so with me today, I have Julie Fitzpatrick. So Julie is a multi-award-winning Superconscious hypnotherapist and master NLP coach. She's also a podcast host, a speaker, and the #1 international bestselling co-author. She is the founder of Millieside Therapy and Coaching. So welcome, Julie. I'm so happy you're here with me.
Oh, hello. Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited. I just love to talk, so it's a perfect combination.
Well, I love talking about hypnotherapy and NLP, so I think we're going to get along really well. But I always start my episodes off the same way, and that is by asking my guests what their origin story is. So if you wouldn't mind for a moment, just sharing a little bit about what put you on this path to become this award-winning hypnotherapist and NLP coach.
Oh, sure. I'd love to. So I am, what am I now, 56. In the pandemic, in 2020, I was working in the corporate world, which I had done at that point for about 32 years. I did take a little bit of a break from it, probably about 15 years prior to that, where I trained as a counsellor, like a talking therapist, but I never took that on really as a career. I did it as a volunteer for a while. So I was kind of caught in the rat trap, really, of being in the corporate world, earning good money, and I didn't really know how to get off it, if I'm honest. I didn't know how to get off that hamster wheel. But in the middle of the pandemic, as I said, the universe decided that it was my time, and it gave me a huge nudge, pushed me off and made me redundant. So I decided to think about what it is I really wanted to do, because by this time I'm like, do you know what, I'm done with this corporate world. It doesn't rock my boat anymore. I was stressed, anxious, and at the time I didn't realise it that I was going through the menopause. So there's a whole load of fun stuff that you've got coming, Kris, in the future. But, you know, you've got a long way off of that yet. So there I was, I thought, do you know what? I need to still work though. So I managed to manifest myself a job. I said, I want another corporate job that earns me the money, but I don't have to do too much. Bang, I got it. I didn't realise I was good at this point of manifesting. And then, so I went back to work. Then I started to retrain myself. So I started on an NLP, neuro-linguistic program. And then once I was doing that, I then started, by the power of social media, which I now know is probably because I spoke about it and then it appeared in my feeds. I signed up with a business coach because I knew nothing about building a business, never even wanted to have a business, if I'm honest. It was never something that I thought I was going to do. Then I just started practicing on clients, and then I was like, oh my God, this power of the mind stuff is like phenomenal. And what do you mean we can change physical things as well? And it's like, oh my God. So then after the NLP, I carried on and did a master in NLP. And then through the power of social media, a lady called Marissa Peer came into my life. Now she's the founder of Rapid Transformational Therapy, which is hypnotherapy based, but it's all around really regressing people back and going to the root cause of what's happening and happened to them. It is phenomenal. And then I carried on training, and I enhanced my hypnotherapy skills, got my clinical hypnotherapy. But then I started tapping into, I was doing all this work on myself as well, by the way, going through a program to uncover my beliefs and everything. Then I started understanding the power of my superconscious and my higher self. And you can see a beautiful Great Dane in the backdrop here, but sadly he's not with us anymore. But when I started on this journey, he decided that he was going to be my therapy dog. So he started attending the sessions that I was having. And I've got a summer house down the garden, so I started having clients in there, and he decided that he was coming with me. But when I started on the old website and the logo and all that, he became part of it. And then in May 23, sadly he died, and it floored me. It was like, my current husband is my second husband, and we decided not to have children. We both got children from previous relationships. So he was our baby, he was our child, and our whole life revolved around him. And because he was huge, he was just like a local celebrity, and everyone knew him. And you couldn't go for a walk without people stopping to have a conversation with you. Even cars would stop to get out of the cars to come and say hello to him and have their photos done with him. So it was crazy, crazy, crazy. But then the day after he died, I had this message that came into my head and said, Julie, you've got to write a book. And I'm like, okay, never wanted to write a book. I've had a chapter in a book, as you alluded to at the beginning there. And it's like, okay. And then this message just said, it's a story of Luther's life, but it's got all these little flashes, and these were people's stories. And it said you've got to have other people's stories about how animals have transformed their lives. And I was like, okay. So I went out on social media and said, look, I need some stories. If anyone's got stories, send them to me, which they did. But then I was always like a bit curious, as that's all very well and good, but what's really the point of this book? And shortly after Luther died, one of my clients had registered a star in his name. And up until this point, I've been trying to connect to my body. I didn't really understand this whole getting out of your head and feeling in your body and all that kind of thing. And when I was doing a meditation with one of my training groups, and they said, imagine you're looking into the sky, you've got your favourite star of origin. And I suddenly went, I got my Luther star. And from that moment, that was when I got my first mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. And from then, the book kind of evolved into the story of Luther's life and our life with him. But it's about losing your pet, how other animals have helped people, but also about how he helped me in my life, but how he helped me in his death as well. And I've since found out he's one of my guiding, spirit guides. And he's come to visit me at a yoga class. So I know he's still there. He comes into my dreams. He did this morning, actually, funny enough, sending me messages and guiding me. So in essence, I guess that's my story. And I quit the corporate world forever in December 22. Or 3, I can't remember now. The years just like mould, don't they? I don't know. 2 years ago in December that's just gone. And now I live my life saving lives and helping people transform their lives, but really going deep with none of this surface level. We're like really going deep now into people's subconscious minds and getting them stuck from psychological and physical conditions. I'm going to pause now and let you speak.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. You know, I have so many parallels to your life. It's really you were talking. I was like, yeah. Totally. Also left the corporate world to like start my own business, and my heart dog also died in May, but it was 2022, and she still visits me, and you know, I had like a shared death experience with her and all the things. So I'm there with you. I mean, animals are so amazing.
Okay.
Like I told you, I have my current dog asleep down here. But yeah, no, I love your story. And one thing I really loved about it that I kind of just want to highlight for viewers is when you start to embark down your path, the right people find you. Right? I love how you're like, oh yeah, and then by coincidence, this other woman showed up in my life, and like this other teaching that I needed to proceed to the next level. And it's like, yeah, when you just like trust and follow your heart, even if you're like, I don't know where to start, like the right people find you, right? And doors open and opportunities present themselves. So
Sure.
I really love that. So you said something that I didn't catch quite, and I don't know if it's just because we have different accents or what, but did you mention something about like parallel lives and changing physical things?
Not so much a parallel lives, but when I'm working with my clients, I'm using hypnosis to go deep into their subconscious mind. Because what we want to do is get to the root of what's going on. So, for example, if someone's got a physical condition or a psychological, there's normally a reason for that being created. So, you know, like quite often we say, oh, part of me feels like I want to go to that party, but the other part of me doesn't. We kind of create parts of us. So our mind wants to keep us safe. So if we use anxiety as an example, that's our mind kicking in to stop us from doing something. So when it thinks we're in danger, it will give us this anxiety attack in whatever form that is for someone. You know, it might be heart palpitations, stomach twirling, and like as soon as they get that feeling, they go, oh, I don't think I want to do that, whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. But it's not about what you're doing right now. It's about what's a stored memory in your body. And quite often it will be something that happened in your childhood, particularly before you were 7, when your belief system kicks in. But your body will store that physical reaction. And every time your mind needs to keep you safe, it'll go poof, and it'll whoop you right back to, say, when you were 5. So the reaction isn't anything to do with what's going on now. It goes back to your childhood. And that's what I love doing. But as I've got more practice on this and worked on myself more and started trusting my intuition more, and you know what it's like, the more you do something, the better you get at it anyway. We started to get feelings and emotions from ancestral situations. So quite at the point of conception, we can actually inherit our parents' fears, emotions, you know, at that point, which is quite scary, because that means not only are we trying to deal with our stuff, we're dealing with theirs as well. And you're like, cheers, Mum, cheers, Dad, thanks for that. But sometimes I haven't particularly experienced this that much, but it can go back to past lives as well. I mean, clients gone into the womb, which is also quite scary, especially, I know you're a new mum, aren't you? And it's like, once you start hearing all this stuff, you're like, oh, what have I done? Have I messed them up already? I remember when...
no pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure as a parent. I remember when I started doing all this training, and I said to my son, I'm really sorry. And he went, what for? I went, I don't know. I've messed you up somehow. I know I have, because just by the nature of it all, the way it works, you know. But it's really difficult, because you don't know. You can be the best parent in the world but mess them up, right? It just depends on how they interpret that love, or, you know, if it's a negative thing, how they interpret it. But because we're interpreting so much without any logic, that's the belief system that we're sticking with. And as an adult, if we haven't worked on it, we're living our lives on decisions that we made maybe when we were 4 years old, which is quite scary, isn't it, really?
So okay, if someone comes to you with anxiety and you do regress them back into the point where they first felt that, and then is it just like feeling that anxiety again or knowing where it came from can kind of like undo that tangle? And then do you have to like replace it with like a different thought or belief? Like what's the process look like?
Yeah, good question. So basically what we're doing, we're trying to find the root of where that anxiety or whatever it is we're going for. So when we identify where it is, it might have been, when I was 5, I was in my bedroom and I called out for you, called out for my mum and no one came. I felt, how did you feel? Well, I felt scared. I felt unloved. I felt that no one wanted me, and you start unraveling what beliefs that 4-year-old came up with at that time. And then we look at, like, where is it in your body? And it'll be, I feel it in my heart. Okay. So what we do that a few times, or we might do different techniques because I've got a whole toolkit of stuff, but we might do that a few more times because what we want to be sure of, that we get to the real root the first time it happens. So I might think, I think it might go back further than that. Or if they say, I was 20, you're like, it's going to go back further than that. So we might go again, but we'll keep doing different things until we feel like together that we've got quite a good understanding of where it's come from. And then we do different techniques to eradicate it. So we've gone digging, we've identified what the root cause is, and now we want to do different techniques to eradicate it. Now that might be doing a thing where we just talk our way through and go, well, do you understand then? Can you see how this is what you're doing? This is how it's impacting your life now. Can you see how that's connected, and it's detangling that connection. So we're not getting rid of the scene or the event, we're just detangling the emotion that's around it. And then we kind of look at it, if it's a physical reaction in your body, we go inside and go and talk to it. So if it was in the heart, say, we go, okay, where is it? Oh, it's in my heart. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And then we go and talk to the part. It sounds a bit crazy, I know. And we say to it, like, basically we want to understand what its role is. What did you come into their life for? And it might be, well, okay, Kris, when it came into, we asked some questions and we go, how old was you when you came into Chris's life? And the number comes up, 5. Okay. So what was going on in her life when that happened then? And then we can see whether what we already had was the root or there's another root. So sometimes I might even do that bit first. There's a whole array of different things. So we've identified it and then we kind of remove the feelings and emotions attached to it. And then what we do is I give you a recording. And this is very bespoke to you. And it's about some work we would have done in a pre-session to understand what it is we're looking for. And if it was anxiety, it'd be like, okay, what would your life look like if you didn't have it anymore? So we get the future pacing part of it. And then you listen to that recording for at least 21 days after the session. So if you imagine like you're a tree and you've got all weeds growing around you, when we just talk about something, we can definitely trim that stuff back because it makes us feel better for a while. But if we haven't got the root, it's going to grow back. So we are going in, digging the root, throwing it out, and then we're going to sprinkle some new seeds, aka the recording. And over time, you're going to create new powerful beliefs so that you love who you are. Because one of your beliefs might have been you didn't feel good enough. So you are amazing, you are phenomenal, and you've got all this stuff that you're listening to every day and embedding that new powerful you, and then you just feel amazing. In essence, there's a few other bits around it. But
Yeah. And this is all under hypnosis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the idea of going and listening to it for the 21 days to get to the root, because as you were talking, it was like, I was thinking, oh, it reminds me of EMDR a little bit. Like I've done EMDR where, it's following a thread, a storyline, and then seeing where it goes in your past. And then you're describing it, the color, the texture, where it is in your body.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed with EMDR, and I've loved it, I've had great success with it, but I've also noticed like the same things kind of keep coming up. Like it doesn't totally eradicate it fully.
Mm,
And it totally makes sense what you're saying. Like it kind of trims it back and you have to go for the root.
mm.
So when someone's like re-listening to this, what does that do for them? Like, does it reactivate them? Does it just kind of it just yeah, like what is it what's that process of someone like re-listening to this?
Yeah, so basically you're rewiring your neural pathways. And what's great about science now, we can actually prove all of this. So neuroplasticity is all about, we used to think that that's where the word mindset comes from actually. They thought your mind was set. But we know that not to be true now because we know we can reprogram our minds, right? So when we've done a session, we've almost given, if you imagine like a computer or something, you've given it a big reboot. It's gone, and now we're with the recording, we're settling down those neuro pathways, but we're actually opening up neuro pathways as well, ones that maybe weren't there before. So you might start getting memories of things that you've forgotten, and you might just find that, oh my God, I forgot about that. That's amazing, and your life will just open up now because it's not, the big important thing is you're not being stuck back at that spot where you were before. It's a little bit like, if you imagine a hose pipe, you turn the tap on, but it's got a kink in it, and some of it's trickling, but it's not flowing. So when you do the work, you're going to the root of where that kink is in that hose pipe, freeing that hose pipe so that your energy basically can flow through. So yeah, it's rewiring basically, and telling yourself that, rather than telling yourself that you're stupid and you're not good enough, you're amazing. You can do anything you want to do, and your mind will listen to what you tell it. So
So that kind
yeah,
of is like what my next question was. When you're talking about re-listening to this to create new neural pathways, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you were re-listening to the session where you're like revisiting where that happened to
oh
you. And so I
no,
was like, well,
no,
wouldn't that be like reinforcing it or like
no.
but if you're re-listening to like the new seeds, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, no. You're not.
Okay.
No, we don't record the actual session. No, and you're absolutely right. That would just
Okay.
be traumatic, wouldn't it? To
Yeah, that's
relive
why I
it
was
all.
kind of like, that's interesting. Okay, that makes
I'm
much
glad you
more sense.
clarified that because maybe other people were thinking the same.
It totally might have been just me misunderstanding, but okay. So that totally makes sense. And I mean, that's so much of the work that, so many of us do with like reading mantras or journaling your
Mm.
future and reading it every night. And it's nice to like say it in your own voice too, and then like rehear it like that. That's such a like lovely way to like reinforce it.
Yeah, and it's about, with the recording that I give my clients, the client has given me a lot of that information beforehand anyway. And when I do some of the prep work, we have a sheet, if you like, that we look at, which is all about different emotional wounds. So there's lots of different words on it that are relevant to emotions, and I get them to go through all of that and highlight the ones that are relevant to them. Then we take the top 10, and then whatever the word is, say for example the word is trapped, I say, right, now give me the reverse of that, and it might be, say, freedom. And then I get them to give me a sentence that resonates with them that's got the word freedom in it. It has to be positive. So sometimes we have to go and change them a little bit. And then what I also do is weave those into the recording because that's their voice. If they say something like, I have the freedom to be who I want to be and to trust myself, if that's something that they've come up with, when they hear that every single day in that recording, they go, yeah, I do. I want to have freedom so I can trust myself. Obviously there'll be a lot of stuff I'll put in as well, but then it might be for the future pacing part. They might have said, "Oh, do you know what? If I didn't have anxiety anymore, I think I'd have the confidence to go for another job." And so we might go, "You're so excited to go and look at the jobs section on the internet, or whatever it is," and so then they go, "Oh, do you know what? I think I'll go and have a look at the job section because that's what they've told their brain they're going to do." And what I love about it, there's many, many things I love about it, but it's so fast. So when you're in that session, you've done that part of the work already. You've got rid of it. But the recording is like enhancing that process. So they are a bit like yin and yang, and salt and pepper. It's best to have both. And if you don't do the recording, then you're not giving yourself the full benefit of the whole treatment. And I kind of say to people, it's a little bit, if you're sick and you've got antibiotics, what do they always say? Make sure you finish the course, because if you want to get the full benefit, right? Because if you stop taking them halfway through, then it might come back. I mean, you're not going to go back to the neuro pathway, but you might not be as anxiety free as you want to be. I mean, we still need a little bit of anxiety in our lives anyway, right? Because that keeps us safe. But you just want to just have current stuff. You don't really want to be dealing with historic trauma in your life, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it kind of is like when you change that neural pathway and you don't replace it with something, it's like that's an empty gaping hole to replace with whatever thoughts or beliefs come in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to take advantage of the opportunity to program something more positive.
Exactly.
That's really cool. So a lot of times when I have guests on that do, I don't know, some kind of service, like I'll ask for some sort of like little demo, but obviously you can't, put me under hypnosis. But is there any, just you made me think of it with like the words that you choose or anything. Is there any kind of little demo that we can do just for listeners so they can get a better idea of what it looks like?
Okay, so it can't be a visual demo then, can it? It has to be a verbal one.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, it's totally fine. But
I mean, everything is about the power of language.
Yeah.
Right? So one thing that I teach my clients all the time is we have to put ourselves first, right? And as a mum, you will know that that's quite tricky, because when you've got a baby, then these are very demanding, right? And you're trying to juggle a business, you're trying to juggle arranging these podcasts and things like that, right? And you have to basically be Superwoman. But if you neglect yourself and you don't put yourself first, you're going to have that impact of not being the best mom, or you end up having that feeling, don't you, that you're just not doing a good job with anything in the end. So we have to take ourselves back to putting ourselves first. And that could be just as simple as taking 5 minutes a day just to sit and be, and maybe do some breathing techniques. So one of the most powerful things I've ever learned, really, I mean, I know there's hundreds and thousands probably of breathing techniques, but the one that I got taught was one called coherent breathing. Now, what I love about this is it's been scientifically proven, which people like. Okay, so what they've scientifically proved, that if you can engage in this breathing at least 20 minutes in your day, at least every day for 6 months, you can increase your life expectancy by 10 years.
Wow, that's significant.
That's significant, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
So what I teach my clients to do, and I usually, whenever we go into like hypnosis anyway, it's very much about breathing and getting calm. So coherent breathing is simply like you breathe for the count of 6 and you breathe out for the count of 6, but you do it all through your nose and not through your mouth. Obviously, you're using like your diaphragm to do it. So rather than doing hypnosis per se, let's just do a quick relaxation part. So I would say to people, just get comfortable. If you can put your feet on the floor, do that. Then I want you to close your eyes. And then I just want you to take a deep breath in for the count of 6, as best as you can, using like your stomach and diaphragm, all through your nose. So in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just focus on your breathing just for a few moments as you listen to my voice. And as you listen to my voice, I just want you to take a moment just to take time out for you, just to be calm, just to be relaxed, have no guilt, and just feel your feet on the floor, and just feel how good those feet have been for you. What have they done for you today? What have they done for you in the past? How have they helped you in your life? Just feel and be grateful for your feet. And then just slowly move that feeling up your legs, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. As that goes up your body, imagine it's like a white light going up your body, up to your pelvis. Just feel that calmness, that freedom, that relaxation as it goes up through your stomach, up through to your chest, to your heart. And just imagine your heart like a flower. And underneath the flower, this little message it's sending to you. It might be thank you. It might be I love you. Relax. Be grateful. And as you feel the warmth in your heart, I want you to send that warmth around the rest of your body. So send it down both your arms, through to your hands. And as it reaches your hands, just feel that little tingle in your fingers as you feel calm, safe, and secure in that moment. And just spread that right up through your chest, up your throat, feeling calm in your throat so that you can know that you're entitled to speak and your voice can be heard, right up to your face. Just feeling calm as it rises up through your head to the top of your head. And then just imagine opening up your head and letting anything that you need to get rid of just wisp up into the sky. Just feeling calm, feeling relaxed. Grateful for taking that few moments for yourself. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.
That was so lovely. Thank you.
I just kind of like, I didn't know where I was going with that. I just...
You have the most calming voice ever.
Oh, thank you.
And no, it was like actually a little taste of what hypnosis would be like with you. So thank you. Listeners, I hope you sat somewhere and didn't like listen to that while you were driving.
Yeah,
But that was that was so lovely.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. And that's what's interesting, right? Because people do worry about hypnosis, right? What is it? And oh my God, can you make me do it? And all this kind of stuff. Because a lot of it, I don't know if you have it in America, when they do a lot of stage hypnosis and then they go click my fingers and turn them into a dog and they start barking around the stage. And obviously that puts people off, right? I mean, that is genuine. People can do that. But I think what's important to understand is that when it's just being in like a trance-like state, just like we were just then. And what that does is it closes off our conscious mind a little bit so that we can go into our subconscious mind. And that's where all the gold is. That's where all our stories are. That's where all our memories are. That's where everything is stored. And I want the listeners to just start to think about that 5% of our mind is conscious and 95% is subconscious. And that is our whole body. Our whole body is our subconscious mind. So when we are dealing with hypnosis, we're trying to find everything in that 95. When we're talking about it, we're just talking to that 5%. So it makes sense, really, doesn't it, to want to tap into what's going on in your whole body. And not all hypnosis is the same in a sense that it regresses back. But that's why I think that what Marissa Peer's created is so powerful. And with all the other training I've done, I do add in my own stuff as well. And like I was saying to you about feelings from other people, sometimes I'll be with someone and I'm like, is that your feeling or is it someone else's? And they just instantly know it's not theirs. Where is it? Whose is it then? You know, and we just know, we know what's going on in here. But when we don't live in the present moment, and I was guilty of this for, most of my life, living in our head, we don't stop to take note of what's going on. And that's why we end up getting stressed. That's why we cause disease in our bodies, because we don't ever stop and we don't listen to what's going on inside.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you just said, and it makes sense. And I've heard that about like the 95% of our life, we're living in our unconscious mind, and it makes sense, right? Because in our modern societies, we're so busy, and it's like, go to this project, take care of this person, gotta cook dinner, gotta work out, gotta commute, gotta whatever it is. And it's just kind of like, go, go, go. Even if you're relaxing, maybe you're reading a book or listening to music or watching TV, or, you're not getting quiet.
Mm.
So do you think, like, if people were to just get quiet, they could really tap into that 95%? Or does it take, um, consciously, like, navigating all of that to kind of get down to root causes of things?
I mean, I think to get down to root causes, it probably is a little bit harder to do, because you've got to really maybe know what you're asking and know what you're feeling. It is totally possible. But I think what we could do, we could use it more on an everyday basis. So, like, for example, you might say, oh, I've been offered this job, but I don't know if I want it or not. Now, you might think, well, it's good money, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But on the other hand, it's going to take me away from this, and it's going to be really hard with the kids, So you do like your pros and cons, but quite often your ego will make that decision, and your ego might not be the right person to make that decision. So what you can do is put yourself into a little trance like we just did, and just close your eyes and say, right, what is it I really want to do? Do I really want that job or not? And if you just ask a specific question and give it time just to answer it, it will tell you all day long what you should do. The problem is, we might say, oh, my heart says this, but my head says this. And we tend to go over our head. But we should be listening to our heart, really, because that's where the essence of it all is. And I think if we all got better at that, I think we would make much better decisions in our lives. I really do.
I really love that. And it goes back to kind of what you were saying before, like, our body feels it, right? Like, if you're asking that question and you're quiet, and maybe you get like a heart palpitation or something, you're like, maybe that would cause me more anxiety. Like, it kind of reminds me of is heart math. Are you familiar with heart math at all?
No, it's not me.
Ooh, you would love it. So the Heart Math Institute actually does like a ton of research. They're amazing, and they've found that they've like measured the electromagnetic field outside of the heart. But I have one on my shelf, but they have like little. It connects to an app on your phone, but you like clip it on your ear, and it can like put you in like an alpha brainwave state. A lot of what their thing is like you put yourself in like a relaxed state, and you put your hand on your heart, and you imagine your heart, and I think you like feel it. And you're like, you can ask your heart questions, right? And it's like, heart, what is it that you want to tell me, right? And it's always messages of love, right? But a lot of what they promote is you can ask questions like, should I do this or not? And like you kind of get these like instant answers in your mind. But you would like it. You should check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And they're incredible, like science backed, and just yeah.
I suppose it's, in a way, it's a little bit like oracle cards or something as well, isn't it? I've only recently got. Have you heard of oracle cards? I've got a pack.
I do have a deck. I don't use them very often, though.
Well, I've only recently got this pack, and funny enough, I haven't used it for a while. But these are sort of kind of a bit similar, really, in the sense that you've got your pack of cards, and you like put it on your heart and go, okay, so should I go for that job or something? And then you can just pick the card that resonates with you, and then quite often it'll be, you need to follow your part, or something like that.
Yeah.
But
you're like, well, was that helpful? I don't know.
Yeah, but they're quite interesting. But it's all about messaging and listening. And I was telling you about Luther. Even this very morning, I was in kind of like that alpha state. I was half awake, half not. And quite often I do my meditation then as well, because that's a really good time to do it, because you're in that relaxed state. And I was having a dream. It's a bit weird. Dreams are weird anyway, and you're like, what? But I'd driven my car somewhere, but I couldn't remember where it was. And all of a sudden, Luther was there. Now, he wasn't on a lead or anything, or a leash as you call them there in America. He wasn't on a leash. Now, when he was alive, if I was in a country field or something, he wouldn't be on it. It was only, if we were street walking him, he would be on a lead because he was as daft as a brush and he would just run into the road. But when he was out in the fields, he would run off and chase squirrels. He never caught one. But he would never go far. He'd always look back to see where we were, and he'd stop and he would wait. Not so much when he was a puppy, he's a bit more of a rascal then, but as he got older. But in this dream, we were walking the streets looking for my car, and he was just ahead of me, and he just kept looking back at me to say, come on, come on. And then the dream kind of like, disintegrated like they do. And straight away I went to myself, oh my God, he just gave me a message then. He told me to trust the path that I'm on and just follow him. Just go, trust, we'll find it. Well, that's what I interpret it to be. But whether that was what it was or not, I don't know. But that's the message I got. Now I know he's with me, so why wouldn't it be? Because there's been a lot going on with my family at the moment, with a lot of sickness and stuff, and that's been quite a distraction. And as a business owner, sometimes, you're like, oh, I've not been focusing on my business as much as I should have done. But it was for me, it gave me the comfort. It said, you're doing all right, don't worry, just trust it's going to be okay. It's fine. Just carry on doing what you're doing. Just follow my lead. Just go and trust. But if I wasn't paying attention, I would have missed that. Or I might have just gone, oh, it's a lovely little dream with Luther in it. Whether there was a meaning in there or not, who knows? But I decided to take a meaning from that. But that's because now I'm more in tune with myself. Don't get me wrong, I've got loads more to do. But when I was in the corporate world, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a mind-body connection. I'd heard the words, because you do, but I didn't know what it really meant. And I think that's so common for many people. You don't have to be working in the corporate world. You can be working or doing anything in any part of your life. But until we understand that we need to start learning this emotional intelligence, which is that you have to connect with yourself. And if you continue to not and to continue ignoring what's going on, then you're going to get sick. And as we get older, lots of people find that they're visiting the doctors much more anyway, and that's because we're layering on of trapped feelings and emotions that you've never dealt with, and that's where a lot of pain can come from. It can be trapped feelings and emotions. And Louise Hay, she's very famous for, isn't she, saying that each part of your body it traps different things. Like, for example, your hips, that can be a lot of trapped feeling, pain and things like that. All around your body, like if someone can't speak, the sore throat, well, sometimes that might be because you feel like you can't express yourself. Hearing problems, you're trying to avoid hearing something. Everything's connected. And whether we like it or not, whether we get on board with it or not, it is a thing, as you well know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the dream about Luther. Is his name Luther? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's a really cute name. And you were kind of like, this is what I took from it, but like, no, that's 100%. Like, if you took that from it, that's what you were meant to take from it, right? And yeah, I just love what you're saying. Like, there's messages everywhere, right? We have guides, we have guardian angels, there's other spirits around us. Like, messages are there if you slow down and pay attention. And yeah, I think that's so beautiful that you're getting that reassurance through your dog. And I just love everything you've talked about. Is there any last message that you really want to leave people with today that maybe we didn't cover, that you just want to like get out into the world?
One of my mantra things is about moving people from stuck to unstoppable. And what frustrates me is there's so many people out there in this world who are limiting their life on what they can achieve, what they can do, because they don't know any different. And my passion really is to get people to understand that you don't have to live like that. There's so many things out there that you can do to help you, but it has to start from within. You're going to have to want to change. And we can do so many simple things like just listen to the language we're telling ourselves. If we're saying, I can't do this, I hate myself, I'm never going to be able to do that, well, guess what? You're never going to be able to do that. So just by switching the way we talk to ourselves is a huge, huge step in the right direction. I would also want people to understand the power of your mind, right? In particular, your imagination. Now, if you think about fear, most things are fear-based, and that actually spells out false evidence appearing real, right? Anxiety, stress, overwhelm, fear of success, fear of failure, procrastination, self-sabotage, etc., etc. They're all based on fears, right? We're only born with two: fear of falling, fear of loud noises, right? Your little baby, that's all that they're worrying about right now, because we haven't, they haven't been sucked into the world yet. So everything else is learned. Our beliefs are learned and created by what other people have said or what we've created ourselves, right? So don't believe the negative things, switch it around and believe the positive. Now, your imagination is the most powerful tool you've got. So rather than waste it imagining what might happen, worrying, stressing, if you could just flip that, imagine what you could do. And there's no limit to your imagination. It doesn't cost anything. You can use it as much as you like. There's no limit. It's not like a mobile phone network that you've only got 30 minutes or something a week. Use it, but use it for the good. Stop being so negative about everything and start using the power of your imagination to imagine how amazing your life could look like. That would be the things, I think.
Yeah, I so appreciate everything you said. I talk about so many similar things in my book. We're very much on the same path. I think our imagination is the tool that we were given to manifest everything that we can create. And I love what you were talking about, like negative self-talk. Like you can spend just as much time and energy telling yourself positive things. Right? And I think psychologists estimate 70 to 90% of our thoughts are negative and redundant, but when we get conscious of that, then we can replace them. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your insights. I'm sure people want to know where they can find you, how they can connect with you. So if you want to just share that for a moment.
So my business name is Millieside, which is Millieside. So that's my name on my website. I'm Millieside Therapy and Coaching on all my social medias, on YouTube, apart from Instagram, which is Julie Millieside. Not sure why, but it is. So Millieside Therapy and Coaching. I do have my own YouTube channel, which you're going to appear on because we are exchanging podcasts.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's great, isn't it, to just get people together and talk more. So that's where you can find me. And come and see me. Come and visit me. Start following me. Just get the word out there that you don't have to be stuck. You can become unstoppable.
Yeah, and do you work with people through Zoom or anything, or do they have to be UK based?
No. They can be. I can do everything on Zoom as well. I've had a client in Taiwan. They were English, to be fair. Australia, America. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing we've got to contend with is the time zone difference, but other than that, it's all good. So I can do it face to face if it's local or completely online. I work with people on a one-to-one basis if you want like real in-depth change, but I also have a group program which is called Your Breakthrough from Stress and Lack of Confidence to Inner Peace and Clarity. So I'm really super proud of it actually, because it's all about providing the conscious information so that you've got that emotional intelligence, but also it's got hypnosis in it, it's got audios in it, it's got workbooks in it, and then at least twice a month I do a live where we're open to Q&A and coaching, and sometimes I do new content, and I'm always putting new stuff in there. So I'm really proud of that, because you can get so much from working as in a group as well, where people work together, and most people have got, although they've got their own lives, fundamentally it's all very similar, isn't it? they're all stressed, they're all too busy being busy, they haven't got time for this and all that. But so actually the program's broken into a triangle, and one of it is taking people from self-neglect to self-respect, time poor to time abundance, and poor health to health reboot. So it is about capturing all those areas so that you can actually put yourself first and take your self-care, be careful with it and know that that's the most important thing. Sorry, I said that really badly. Sorry about that.
No, amazing. It sounds incredible. And I'm going to have all those links in the show notes so people will be able to find you. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate your time. It was so wonderful to hear your insights. I'm excited to continue the conversation on your show. And if you're listening and there's someone in your life who you think would resonate with this, please send it to them. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's lift up humanity. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone.